Hello and welcome back to Talon 101. Today we are going to be talking about heat. Yes, this brand new mechanic that Tekken 8 has and the fancy new things that you can do with it. And Hwoarang's heat, man, this is what I gotta say. Definitely one of the few things you've seen about this character because that is a 10-hit counter-hit launcher. So let's start off with heat engagers. Hwoarang has a total of 5 heat engagers. We're going to go through it in each stance. So let's start with left foot forward. This is the stance you're usually in all the time. And your heat engagers are as follows. DF3 plus 4. This is your 13 frame heat engager. Typically, you're going to be using this on small whiff punishment, like when an opponent whiffs around these areas. Or if you block something that's, straight up negative 13 or negative 14. Your next heat engager in left foot forward is FF4, Peacekeeper. This is your long-reaching move that you can reach like an opponent from a mile away. So if they're doing something funny over here, you can hit them for it. And it's your approach tool, one of your safe approach tools because it comes out at -7 on block. On hit, it knocks down. And of course, if heat's still active, it will activate heat. Now, if we move to right foot forward, the 2 moves I just mentioned earlier, you can do in right foot forward. So that's Ignition Barrage, and this is Peacekeeper in right foot forward. Again, it adds 2. And it has one more as well, which is Black Kite, RFF DF3, which is your homing mid in RFF, and it's +1. So imagine that, a heat engager that low crushes, is homing, has a chunky hitbox. It's just a really good move. That's all I can say. Like, why does it hit from like this range? And then we go to left flamingo. And left flamingo, your only heat engager is LFS forward 3. LFS forward 3 on block is the same as it's always been. It's +4 with some pushback, so you can like keep yourself safe with LFS 1 or hold back then LFS 1. Take your pick depending on like how the opponent is reacting in that scenario. And your last heat engager in RFS is RFS back 3. This used to be his launcher, -10 launcher in Season 4 of Tekken 7. But now it is a safe heat engager that you can throw out freely. In fact, probably the 3rd safe heat engager you can throw out because not 3, 4 safe heat engagers. Just -1 because this is -14. But yeah, as you saw earlier, if you do get a heat engager on hit, you will go +17. So it's just like, okay, I have 17 frames to work with. What can I do? Well, pretty much anything under the sun. However, there are a few things you need to keep track of. Number 1 is that our heat engagers, or Hwoarang's heat engagers, are not created equal. What do I mean by that? So we're gonna start with the Power Crush first. This is key. This is a key point. So if you're +17 and you can do anything under the sun, I want to keep plus frames. I want to like keep the advantage. So I want to pile the advantage on top of another advantage. So like, you get +17, I want to do like something like up forward 2 because up forward 2 comes out at 26 frames. So 26 minus 17 is going to come out pretty fast. Now, if you do it off FF4 and you mash up forward 2, as you can see, the Power Crush does not activate. However, if you do it off LFS forward 3 and you mash up forward 2, it also does not come out. Alright, so Frontier, that's 2 out of 5 of Hwoarang's heat engagers that, it works the same. I don't have to think about it, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. When we throw out Ignition Barrage and you up forward 2, for whatever reason, despite being +17, your opponent can Power Crush. Why? No idea. But the same thing will apply if you do RFF DF3 as well, and you up forward 2, they can Power Crush. So make sure you're holding back right after your button in order to stay safe. And the last one would be also RFS back 3. So do take care when you're pressing one of these 3, if you're pressing a button after these 3 heat engagers, most especially if it's a slow button like up forward 2 because this comes out at 20 frames. So if it comes out faster, right? So let's say you're pressing a fast button, you're gonna press DF2 right after. I mean, yeah, you'll win, right? You'll win. Now, LFS forward 3 has a small tidbit, right? So Power Crush does not activate versus LFS forward 3. However, your up forward 2 will get backdashed. So if I were to outline options that you can use in general, but you can just opt for a DF2 and hopefully, they get launched. Well, against a Power Crush, they will not get launched. So let's say we change their challenge to, let's say, a jab, right? And we're gonna do DF3 +4 into DF2. Then yeah, they'll get launched. So against the Power Crush, they won't. And then if you double check this with like, let's say Rage Art, right? Which has the same rules with the Power Crush. Well, at least you're safe. So DF2 and under. So DF2 a throw, highly recommend throws after a heat engager. And then also after a heat engager, lows. So like you can down 3-4. You see how the rage art doesn't activate there either. And then of course, simple stuff like DF1 or a DF3+4 into a heat dash. So like let's say you get FF4, right? And you want to pile on the pressure. You hold forward and you get a dash. So that's the other thing you can do with heat. So the moment heat is active, whether you activated this through a heat burst or a heat engager, then you can hold forward to get plus frames. So the heat dash situation is +5. So it's +5 on block. So if we turn this on through the heat burst activation and pressing back to cancel it, and you do any of the heat engagers, you're +5. Now here, the small tidbit about like FF4, LFS4 3, stuff like that, that doesn't exist anymore. It only exists for the heat engagers, not for the heat dash, only for the engagers. On the heat dash, all the heat engagers, if you hold forward, are created equal. They're the same. So if we go back to the same rules, on like the Power Crush, you want to be using 12 frames or faster. So moves that come out of 12 frames or faster are your best bet. So let's say you do Ignition Barrage, and then you do a grab. So that will definitely beat a grab, beat a Power Crush, or beat a generic challenge, like let's say a jab. Like so. Yes, you can also use QCB3 as well, but you just gotta make sure you're really fast on QCB3 for the heat dash. On the engager, you can do that anytime, because you can like just mid-check versus Power Crush after a heat dash, because you will remain safe. That's pretty much all you get. If you do the other 13 frame mid that Hwoarang has, then you're gonna get caught. Not a good idea. So you know, if you think less about DF3+4 when you get the heat dash. When you get the heat dash, DF1 is like what you're thinking of, because at least you will remain safe against a Power Crush. But if the opponent does have low health and you decide to heat dash, do take care with your 13th frame mid, because your opponent's rage art will activate and you'll have to watch a cinema. And then if, you know, they were low enough on HP, well, you're dead. So you're really focusing on a lot of, let's say, highs and mids in this situation. So just to re-outline, that would be grabs, generic stuff like 1-2. When it comes to lows, you're gonna do stuff like down back 4. Of course, if you're not so sure, right? Depending on like what your opponent likes to do, instead of like just pressing a button to like always keep check of your opponent, you can always just sidestep. And then you can punish them either way, because you have 5 frames of advantage. So just know which side your opponent's weak side in general, and then like sidestep towards that side. Or you do it based on like the moves your opponent has been using in the set, and then sidestep towards that side, because you will avoid those options and you'll get like really big punish. Now if they're on the smarter end, or like not necessarily smarter end, but like they want to be like far more safer, right? So they're not challenging you at all, and you don't have to play by like the 12 frames and under or 13 frames and under rule, and they're doing, let's say, sidestep left and sidestep right. Here are a couple of options that you could do in general, right? So like if they sidewalk left, sidewalk left or sidestep left are jabs. So this will prevent sidewalk left and sidestep left. 4-3 will also prevent that, so you can go high mid. Really good choice. Just imagine yourself like Jin Kazama 2-1. And down back 4. Those are your 3 most reliable moves to prevent sidestep left and sidewalk left. Now, if you are playing against sidestep right or sidewalk right, you have more options. So that'd be jabs again. You can do 4-3 again. You can also do back 4. You can also do, you have mids this time. You can do DF1. Well, in most scenarios, you could do DF1. But Hwoarang is not going to be avoiding F1+2. No, he will not be. And the other mid that you can throw out is DF3+4 as well. As for lows, in terms of like the most reliable low for sidestep or sidewalk right, it's down 4. Not down 4-4. I mean, feel free to risk down 4-4, but down 4 by itself in general. Of course, against average sidesteps or weaker sidesteps, you can include stuff like down back 4 again, because down back 4 won't lose here. If you're playing against like really good movement and really good sidesteps, so Lily, Alisa, Dragunov, Zafina, stuff like that, then yeah, you want to like limit yourself to specific lows that beat both sidewalk left, sidestep left, sidewalk left, and sidestep right and sidewalk right. But against everyone else, I guess you could just like down back 4 if you want to. The other thing, going back to like Hwoarang's heat engagers. So right, yes, if you hold forward after one of these engagers, you get a heat dash, right? And if it does connect, your follow-ups change a little bit. So for 4 out of the 5 heat engagers, you will get a full combo. So those are mainly, as I showed earlier, FF4, that's a full combo. RFF DF3 is a full combo. LFS forward 3 is a full combo. And RFS back 3 is a full combo. The combo for all of these are very similar to each other. So usually, if you are getting any of them, you can just loop as many, or well, 3 of these, I believe. 3 of these into an up 40 plus 4, and you'll be on your way. It's a decent combo for heat dashes on any of these, right? So that's on FF4 if we do it on RFF DF3. It's not the strongest, but at least you're getting like good enough wall carry out of it, and like, wow, your opponent will end up towards the wall out of nowhere. The other one is to do something like this. And it has similar damage and wall carry. Usually you see this more on RFS back 3, but you can 100% do it on like all the other heat engagers. Very reliable heat dash combos. Now, DFT plus 4, I guess, is the odd one out of the 4 out of the 5 heat engagers. Because if you get DFT plus 4, you can't combo it. You see how Hwoarang doesn't refloat anymore compared to like FF4, RFF DF3, LFS 40, and RFS back 3. So all Hwoarang gets after he does a heat engage, after he holds forward, after DFT plus 4 Ignition Barrage, is follow-ups. So mainly you're getting FF3, Cheap Shot, F3 Slide 3, CD3. As you can see, they're all the same damage, 44. This is your fastest one, back 3. And your strongest option, if I can get it, should be running 3. But this is definitely on the harder end to pull off. There you go, running 3. It's either you're getting 47 damage or you're getting 44 damage. With 44 damage, again, it's a 3 damage difference, so it's not as bad situation. If you do your heat engager or your heat dash in open, running 3, CD3, basically everything you did on DFT plus 4 forward as like guaranteed follow-ups, those are your follow-ups after a heat dash. If you get your opponent back turn with a heat dash, they'll realign. So if you're looking for a really quick way to realign your opponent, and you didn't want to end with an awkward back turn wall splat, that's the way to go. Now, the other thing you can do with heat is you can activate it through just pressing 2 plus 3 or the heat burst button. And if you do that, you are going to become +1. That's right. You're going to become +1. It's a power crush. So you can like use it to like get out of pressure or do it mid-combo to set up for like your heat situation, right? So like this is a sample combo for Hwoarang. You end it on FF3 and then you hold forward on the dash if they get up wrong. That's a full combo for Hwoarang after RFF DF3. Now there are 2 things you need to know about heat dash. It's just frame data. So number 1, it's a power crush, right? And you can activate this pretty much anywhere on the stage. You just have to press your heat burst or 2 plus 3 button, and it will absorb a couple of hits. And heat bursts as well have specific tracking. So if like an opponent decides to step Hwoarang at +1 into heat burst, it doesn't track towards the right. But if we say sidestep left, I guess it tracks nowhere at +1. So let's change it to, let's say, +5. No deal as well. Sidestep right, neither. So let's change it to on hit. So +8 on hit. There you go. And then it should still lose to one of the sides. Yeah, there you go. So it tracks towards the left. Not best tracking towards the left. And it doesn't track towards the right. So be careful of like when you activate this, most especially on the defensive end, on like where your opponent's trying to sidestep after, let's say, they do something safe like a DF1 or a jab and they're trying to set up for like repositioning, right? And his heat smash comes out at 17 frames. So So it's a 3 hitting string that it puts him in right flamingo at plus 11. It's alright. Why is it alright? Because your main option after this is Flying Eagle. Now, if you find yourself in situations where your side axis, your Flying Eagle's gonna whiff. It is what it is. So, if you wanna like remain really, really safe, you do RFS forward 3. But then you're plus 11. So 20 minus 11, gonna come out 9 frames. And so let's ask. Let's ask the question to the CPU Hwoarang. Can you power crush my homing move? The answer to that question is yes, and it registers as a punish. So it's like, you're in a really tough spot the moment you do... It's kind of like Hwoarang's Rage Drive back in Tekken 7, if you played Tekken 7, where you go plus 7 force crouch, but your opponent could still step RFF DF4. They could still challenge you. So, it's fair. It's a very fair heat smash / rage drive, if you ask me. The real lockdown will have to be RFS 4. But at that point, you know, if they block it, they go negative 13. They go plus 13, you go negative 13. And usually heat engagers will come out at 13 frames, so you're gonna have to eat one back, and then the opponent's gonna have a lot of momentum at that point. So, while Flying Eagle is your safest mid to throw out, RFS 4 will be your fastest mid. And then of course, you kind of just want to play around the fact that you can do highs. Again, highs will prevent so many things. And of course, your safest low, not RFS down 4, would be RFS down 3. But my main recommendation is of course still to do Flying Eagle right after Heat Smash. Or you should remain safe, reset into RFS 2. That's typically what I do. Feel free to like experiment more. But in general, those are the best ways to like stay safe, because stance switching is gonna leave you open. If the opponent's gonna hold in that situation, then fine. It's like a great idea to stance switch, and then like you get like your down 3-4 and so on and so forth. But again, if they're gonna challenge like that, it's a no-go. Now, the only thing that's very, very unique about this Heat Smash is that it can be done in 3 stances. So number 1 is LFF. We've been doing this over and over again, right? And then you can also do it in RFF, if for as long as you just press the Heat Smash button. Or if you guess you also press, what do you call this? The regular input, which is 2+3, it will activate, because Hwoarang can do DF2+3 from here. So the other place where Hwoarang can do his Heat Smash is from left flamingo stance, because he can do LFF. LFS DF3. So it just comes out, since it comes out from double claymore, it becomes triple claymore. That's really the name of the move, triple claymore. You cannot do it from RFS, however, so it would have been a really cool buff if you could, like, even if I mash Heat Smash, right? Nothing comes out. If I press 2+3, I'll get the throw. The throw in right flamingo. Heat Smashes have slight priority and cannot be beaten by power crushes, right? You can kind of just like throw out the left flamingo right over here, and then just like, okay, and then press it. Now, it does splat. Now, it doesn't splat from like a mile away compared to like Hwoarang's Hell Sweep. But if you do get this to hit, you can do a general combo like so, right? And get 89 damage. You can also do a different version of that with RFS 2-3 and still end up with 84 damage. Of course, if you do SS3-3, you're gonna get even more. But like, these are the 2 routes in general you're typically doing because they give the most damage. Pick one of the 2, whether you're ending tornadoing with RFS 2-3 or RFS of forward 4. Because doing anything else, 2 tornado, right? Let's say you do RFS 2 into like right plasma blade, you're not gonna be hitting the same damage at all. It's the third one already in terms of damage in the list. And then the other one would be something like down 3-4 into that, and well, it's also weaker. So just stick to Air Blade, RFS of forward 4, or RFS 2-3 after a Heat Smash. Also, it probably does break hard walls. So we're gonna go to Sanctum for a hard wall break. So we're over here at the hard wall break. Yeah. So you don't have to break the wall twice if you use a Heat Smash versus a hard wall break, which is great. It's both a good and a bad thing, because you can get a lot of damage for breaking the wall twice and then popping your heat and then getting the wall, right? Or if you already had heat active, I guess you can get a lot more damage in that situation, because you're just gonna do your regular B&B combo at that point. get the wall, and then so on and so forth, get your 3-3-2. And I guess the last thing for heat is the bonuses Hwoarang gets. So when Hwoarang has heat active, right, 2 moves are now enhanced. The first one is the Hell Sweep. RFS down 4-3-4. It knocks down now, right? It knocks down, it pushes the opponent really, really far. It also splats really, really far. So just to showcase how far this wall splat is, it's really, really crazy. Your opponent has to be afraid of you when this move is active. Because when... Bro, why does it do this? Like, you see that? That's pretty far. Now, if I just space it out right, that should be a splat. And that's a full combo. Not the best combo, but yes, you get my point. It's dumb. Really, really dumb. So at least now your Hell Sweep, the RFS down 4-3, this now knocks down, as you saw. The other one is RFS F4-4. This is a natural combo now. Of course, that wasn't put on stand block, so let's put it back to block all. And we're gonna do RFS F4-4 again. Yeah, that's natural. So what does that do for Hwoarang now? Well, number one, it makes him Akuma. So if you remember Akuma from Tekken 7, if Akuma did get a 10-frame counter hit, you die. And that's kind of like the same thing with Hwoarang. You die. That's a lot of damage. Of course, if you do running 3, you're gonna add 3 more damage on top of that. It's crazy. And that makes all of his right, anything that puts him in right flamingo. So that's 10-frame counter hit, right? This is 16-frame counter hit launcher. This is 13-frame counter hit launcher. 12-frame counter hit launcher. So on and so forth. Like, anything that puts him in right flamingo is now danger zone for the opponent. And you really don't wanna press against Hwoarang the moment this is active at all. You don't. Because Hwoarang's gonna keep fishing for his counter hit RFS F4-4, and it's very, very common, like right after, let's say, you do heat burst, because you go +1 and you can like immediately go for your 10 hit because you go for 2-4 if they mash, right, with, let's say, a wall standing 4-4, they don't down jab, right, and you get a heat burst on hit, which is +2. It's done. It's GG's. Let's say they block it, right? They block a heat burst and they press. Oh, well, not a power crush, right? But let's say they also just press a regular kind of challenge. And yeah, it's GG's. Like that, like so. So like that's the first thing. That's the first mix-up that's on your mind. Both, actually not on your mind. Like both of you, both you and your opponent. It's just like, all right, my opponent is gonna 100% utilize the 10-frame counter hit launcher or 16-frame counter hit launcher. So now you have to like work around that kind of stuff. So when heat is active, whether you got it from, let's say, an engager or a burst, you're gonna have to like, that's why sidestepping is gonna be very, very valuable most of the time. And of course, the general thing like that every character gets when heat is active is chip damage. And chip damage, alongside the bonuses I just mentioned, RFS F4-4 being neutral and Hell Sweep being a knockdown punish, this gives you sequences that the opponent has to like be afraid of all the time. So they're gradually losing HP, right? They're gradually losing HP, and at the same time, like, they're losing a lot. So like moves that originally did chip damage are gonna do way more. And that's not like an optimal chip damage sequence. That's like a regular Hwoarang sequence. It's crazy. It's 100% everything I know about heat and Hwoarang's heat game in general. Again, that has been the lesson for this video. I've been Frontier, and thank you for watching.